Testing microphone. Testing microphone. Testing again. Testing. Final test of microphones. Hello everybody and welcome to Division 1. We are racing in Monaco. And when I say we are racing, it's kind of an overstatement because we know what's going to happen in Monaco. I don't even know why we're racing in Monaco. Who the hell thought this was a good idea? But hey, if you want to see a procession, this is the perfect place to see it. A parade sort of thing. I really don't know what to expect from this race. I'm pretty sure this is the track where drivers have the least amount of practice because not many people race in this track. It's terrible for non-professionals. Is like unless you are like a esports player. I don't know, like I'm guessing like 4 safety cars. We are having 15 drivers today. I'm guessing 8 are gonna finish. Lots of DNFs. We are suggesting. A lot of people are starting their out laps right now. Let's get ready for for figuring out if some people can actually complete a lap. I'm surprised we have this track in the league. I'm just hoping for crashes, to be honest. Lots of crashes. Blood, I want to see blood. I want to see people dive bombing. I mean, I'm not racing, so I just want to have fun today. Because it's a complicated track. Like, even in real life, this is one of the most complicated tracks. And, yeah, you have to make a very good qualifying. So you have an actual shot in the race. I don't know virtually in the F1 2021 game how it is. I can tell you that I have raced in this track maybe just like a few times with all the assists turned on, and even then I'm like back in the pack. So I really don't know. We're looking at Ernest, who is starting his hot lap. We will see how he does this. We start to have the first numbers in the lap. 112 from Brady. I don't even know what's the average for a pole position in this track, so you will have to bear with me. 110 from John. John has been doing pretty good in this league, so I'm gonna guess 1.9 or 1.8 is the fastest possible lap. Meanwhile, Ernest just going pretty good. I think that in your first attempt you just need to set a lap. That's the first thing you need to do, set a lap and get your time on the board. Because then we're gonna see a lot of cars in the track and it's gonna be complicated to set one proper hot lap. Ernest at the end of his lap. Let's see what number he can do. He goes 5th position, and with a 112, he actually is now in 7th place. Max is in a 109. I'm guessing that's the number to beat for the fast lap. Interesting to see. God Palmer is gonna try mediums, which I think starting the race of mediums might be a good strategy. I don't even know what's the strategy here, just don't crash too many times. I saw the results from Vision 2 and it felt like even people like Max were in the pits like 5 times or 4 times. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the race is. I don't know if Max is putting a lap. I don't think he is. Let's go with somebody who hasn't set a lap, but they are in the pits. Got Palmer. I think he's gonna start his lap, but I'm not sure. Yeah, he's on an out lap. So let's be with someone and come back with him in a bit. Ernest trying to set a new lap, I think. I don't think so. You know what? As I said many times, qualifying is extremely complicated to broadcast. So let's stay with God Palmer and see what he can do on this lap, on the next lap. God Palmer is gonna try a lap on mediums, and I think it's a good strategy. Meanwhile, who else back of Donald's is he on lap? Doesn't feel like. But Palmer starting his lap. I think the problem in this track is not really like invalidate your time. It's more like crashing or clipping the wall somewhere. You have many opportunities to do that. So let's see how. I think so far he's doing pretty good. Sector 2, I didn't see Sector 1, but Sector 2 looks solid. Okay, still a valid lap. And he goes fastest on second sector, which is pretty good. Oof, very close to the wall, that one. But he exits the last corner pretty good. And he goes second on mediums. That is pretty interesting. And yeah, now he clips the wall. That's in the in lap, so no problem there. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see if John tries something against God Palmer. God Palmer with mediums, I think that's the lap, really. Maybe, I don't know if he will try to go for pole position or just, go with mediums, wait for the first safety car that will happen on the first corner or the first lap, and then just stay as much as possible. Right now, God Palmer just went through the entire chicane, which that will be corners 10 and 11, which are, I think, if there's a place to invalidate your lap, is in that chicane. Then we have a very complicated corners. I think the most complicated corners, I mean, all of them are complicated, but I would say corner 1 and 17 are the hard ones to go. And meanwhile, I think John is in an out lap, so let's stay with him because he will try pole position in this next lap. As I was saying, corners 1 and 17 are the hard ones. I think 17 and 18 is where we saw Leclerc in real life crashing the famous Ferrari from the 70s. So, and it was an exhibition, and he lost the brakes getting to that corner. Right, exactly that one, where we see John starting his lap. Invalidated already in the first corner. He needs to regroup, and maybe he needs to try another lap. We will see how much time left he has. Meanwhile, back of Donuts, I think he's trying a lap, so let's stay with him. 7 minutes left in the clock, so definitely a lot of time for John to go back to the pits and try again. Will be interesting to see if what Palmer goes again. He goes again, and it's gonna be on the soft, so he really wants that pole position. Interesting. I'm not sure if that's the right strategy, but as I said, I'm pretty sure the strategies here are a complete mystery. I don't know if I don't know if Backup Donuts is setting a lap, but let's stay with him for a while and see what he can do here. DRS enabled, and he went 3 seconds slower, so I'm pretty sure he aborted the lap, the previous lap. So let's say we got Palmer. Palmer is right about to start his lap, and this is a lap for pole position. Pretty good in the first corner, no invalidation of the lap there, and now I think all the way until the chicane is just don't crash. Going into the tunnel. It will be interesting to see. In the previous lap, his best sector was the second sector, so there's a bit of traffic ahead. Hopefully that won't be a problem for Scott Palmer. He doesn't go fastest on the second sector, so maybe this lap will not be enough. And if it's not enough for pole, I will say just abort the lap and stay with second place on mediums. And that's what he does. That's what he does exactly. He didn't see a lot of advantage, so it was like, you know what, I would rather start on mediums my lap. Meanwhile, Brady is gonna start the lap. No, he's still around the pool area. He's in the last corner, so let's see if he starts a lap. The DRS is open. It seems that he is starting a lap. Or he was done with a lap. It's very complicated. Seems to be fast enough to be on a lap. Let's see his sector 2, how good is it, if any. Lots of yellow flags, lots of people, traffic right now in the tunnel. Goes 1/10 slower in the second sector. So even if this is a lap, it's not a good lap. Meanwhile, John got the second place from Scott Palmer, which means that Scott Palmer might want to now take a run in the soft, just to be part of that first row. People who have, I don't know if they retire or they crash in the session, we have Fireballer and Crescent. Again, as I said previously, I'm just going to call him Fire and not complicate myself. Meanwhile, let's play a bit with the settings on the broadcast. Okay, we are back to see who's gonna try to take one last lap. 2 minutes on the clock. We have Crit Plus on an out lap. He might be one of the first ones to start the lap. We have some people leaving the pits. I see a Haas doing that in the minimap. It might be God Palmer. Yeah, it is God Palmer. So he's gonna try one last lap on softs to get the first row position, which from what we saw in the mediums, he has the opportunity to do that. Pretty close starting a lap. I think so. Yeah, he is starting a lap. So let's see how he does, and let's make sure that we go to God Palmer because I really want to see his lap. Oof, he crashed, and well, that is, I think, the end of his qualifying, which means 9th place. He is stuck in track, like stopping track. And yeah, corner 6, that Grand Hotel hairpin, it's very, very complicated. So let's go with with God Palmer, who is gonna start his lap right now. Pretty quick downshifts for God Palmer. Oof, a bit of understeer over there, but he recovers the car pretty good. And let's see if that small mistake forces him to take a second chance. I don't think he will have time to set another lap. We have a lot of yellow flags. We cannot see the time remaining, but I'm guessing he will have to start on mediums. I don't think he will have the pace to be in first or second place. Still good from God Palmer if he decides to start on mediums. Let's see sector 3. And yeah, he goes to the pits. That a couple of understeers at the beginning of the lap were not good. John is also aborting his lap. Meanwhile, back of Donuts is trying to set a lap. Let's see sector 3, how fast it is. And I don't think he can do better than 4. Yeah, he goes to the pits also. Crit Plus, I think he still has a problem with his front wing, which means that everybody has completed their qualifying. Max pole position. John second place. God Palmer, who will start on mediums if I'm not mistaken. Then we have Bag of Donuts completing the second row. Brady, Ernest, AEGC, I don't know how I'm gonna pronounce that during the race. Top Box, Crit Plus, Fireballer, Larov, Sack, Crescent, Tum Tum, and David Hill completes. So Chui didn't join. It seems that IRL Chui had some work commitments and he couldn't be today with us. Unfortunate, I think he wasn't in Spain as well, if I'm not mistaken, which means that 2 do not start in a row for Chui Gallegos. Yeah, as we said, God Palmer is going to be the only one to start on mediums, and I really just want to see the craziness that will happen on the first corner on the first lap. I'm putting all my money on safety car, at least virtual safety car. Let's see what happens. A lot of people tried their softs. John used probably all of his softs. I don't know if you have 4. set of. Okay, let's take a little break before the race. So, in all seriousness, I think we will have two safety cars. I do believe like at least half of the people starting the race will go DNF. It's just because of the complexity of the track, nothing against the drivers. And I think that we will get surprised. Like few people who don't start on the front rows, they will have a shot at the win. I'm presuming we have the formation lap, which is necessary. Like it's fundamental to have a good formation lap to warm your tires. If you get disqualified because you touch another driver during formation lap, you will get reset to the grid, and your tires will be extremely cold, and you will get like serious damage, or not damage, but compromise your start of the race. It will be very, very interesting how Brady and Ernest approach the first lap. And also because remember that here we have like traction control on mediums. So for some drivers that will be a bit complicated during the race. We have Fire joining the session, so maybe he got disconnected. The strategy is predicted. I mean, sure, that will be in an ideal scenario where there are no safety cars. But as I said, we will have definitely safety cars. So, going to the grid, getting ready to start the race. Let's make sure that we have all the information that we need. Interval is what I want. Position change at the beginning, telemetry definitely, and lap data. We have everything we need, everything we can get really. I will love to have more information, like for example tire degradation, but we don't. This is fine. And let's get ready. The last car is going into the grid. It seems that David Hill in an Alpine. And there we go. So it begins. The race has begun with a very weird camera from okay, so the start was a bit like not crazy. Interesting. So no crashes on the first corner. I'm surprised, but good for them. And Max, John, God Palmer, and Bag of Donuts start in the position that they are in. We see Fire making 2 places, and David making 3 places. Pretty good start from David. Wow, I am surprised. If we finish the first lap without any incidents, I will be extremely surprised. I don't know if Crescent is having any problems. Let's see. No, it seems that everything is good. So Max is still in first position, and the first lap has been completed from Max. We have the first yellow flag in sector 3. I think Zach, yeah, he needs to replace that front wing. Hopefully he can make it into the pits without any issues, but not safety car. So 3 people go to the pits. Unfortunately, David has to go into the pits after a good start, making up 3 positions. Right now, Tom Tom has has made 3 positions as well. Still pretty close, everybody. I am surprised that they are keeping it this clean. Yellow flag on sector 2. We see a problem there. Yeah, so we have a car stopping track, Tom Tom, and we have the first virtual safety car. I didn't know if he crashed or not. It seems that he is on track. Yeah, he has been disqualified because he parked on a dangerous location. What was that? I don't know if it was a bug or a driver error, but he just stopped in the middle of the track. No idea what happened there. He has been disqualified. And we have the first virtual safety car. Very, very interesting what happened there. There was a yellow flag for sure, but I don't know if it was because of him or because of Ernest. But then seeing Tom Tom just like park in the middle of the track was a bit weird. So let's go back to the race. We have, I think the safety car. Yeah, we no longer have a safety car. The race has been resumed, and John seems to be a bit closer to Max compared to the previous lap. Still, I think that chicane is pretty good for Max because he gained like 2/10 of a second, which is pretty good. The rest of the people remain the same, which means that if we don't have any major safety car, God Palmer with the alternate strategy, he will have a very good opportunity at the win. Okay, so the first cars are being lapped. The first cars are being lapped. David is being lapped. In the lap number 4, we have the first back markers being lapped. Wow. Okay, we have the first 2 DNFs. One was a disqualifying, but a weird one. So we will see what happens. And if the stewards look into it, I think it was just maybe a crash and then the driver deciding not to continue. But still, that was the fault or the issue that generated the virtual safety car. Got Palmer following pretty close John, and let's see if they try and move something here. I know we're not gonna see a lot of overtakes, but I mean, if we can have at least a few, I will be happy with that. Meanwhile, everybody else is settling in. I think we haven't seen any major changes of positions, especially in the front row. Like the first 6 positions, the first 5 positions are unchanged. And Max is creating a gap, now a 2-second gap. And John, having got Palmer pretty close, will force him to defend, I think, or to be at least aware of his rear view mirrors. And the main benefit from that will be Max for sure. We have another yellow flag, I think was just a spin and not more issues. Let's stay with John and God Palmer for the remaining of this lap. Also, there it is. Oh no, a bit of issues for God Palmer, so he cannot make a move versus John. But again, like, it's really hard to overtake on this track. So whatever you can get, you will take it. And now, because of that small problem or mistake from God Palmer, John has created a gap of now almost a second, but in the straights, God Palmer is pretty fast, which means that if he has a chance, it will be on the main straight. Back markers all over the place. We don't even know how crazy will that be, but for now, at least the first 5 positions remain as they are. David goes to the pits again. He was one of the first ones that we saw getting lapped, so I think he's having a lot of problems or a lot of trouble in this track. So I wouldn't be surprised if at any point he makes a mistake that forces him to retire, but we will see. Meanwhile, God Palmer is still chasing John. I think if God Palmer stays within a second, even if he doesn't overtake because he has the mediums, he will have a lot of advantage on the alternative strategy. David gets the first 3-second penalty of the race, and I think, as I said, he's struggling way too much. It is what it is. I'm sorry for him. We were teammates last season on Division 1, and I think we have kind of the same pace, so I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be doing any better in this track in Monaco. Still no changes. I think. Oh, what happened there? Who was that? We had a crash, and I was just browsing through the users, and now I don't know who crashed. Was that David? Yeah, I think it was David. David just crashed. We were talking about him, and yeah, I think we saw that the track was not being very good to him, and that will be a safety car. Just a yellow flag, and we have more yellow flags all over the place. Sector 2 and Sector 3. We have a car stopped on track, and that will be Larov. Larov also DNFs. We were unable to see because we were looking at the leaders, but yeah, we have another DNF. Very, very unfortunate for Larov. Wasn't having an amazing race, but you know, still it's not fun to DNF at the beginning of any race. No safety car still. I'm starting to believe that the settings might be not increase safety car, because you know we have already like 4 DNFs. We had one virtual safety car, but you know that is not the same as a regular safety car. Meanwhile, God Palmer is still chasing John, and I think God Palmer has a pretty good strategy of just following John and making sure he doesn't create a gap. And at some point, John will have to pit first because he's on the soft, and that will be a big advantage for God Palmer. Meanwhile, Max just creating a gap, 3 seconds and increasing. So I'm pretty sure if we don't see any issues in the race, Max has a very good opportunity of finishing first. God Palmer chasing John, but again, we know that we're not gonna see a clean overtake unless John makes a mistake, or you know, like there's an issue, whatever. But even with DRS, you don't have enough to overtake. From what we have seen from John, he's a very good driver. So I'm not hoping for or expecting a mistake from him. So I think this will go down to strategy. I think God Palmer clipped the wall a little bit there, or at least the tire, but it seems that everything is good. I don't see any damage. So he's still chasing John, and Max increasing the gap. Meanwhile, Back of Donuts goes to the pits, and it's just tires, so a really quick pit stop, and he went to the mediums. So I'm guessing that he will try to finish the race in this set of tires. So it's time to see, you know, changing the position change to the tires. There it is. So we have a lot of people with 9 laps of tire degradation. Back of Donuts, one of the first kind of leaders to pit, or actually the first driver to pit without being forced to because of the need to change a front wing. Let's go back to, I think right now we are only looking at the possibility of God Palmer overtaking John, but these are two very good drivers. As I said previously, these will go down to strategy and nothing else. So if Back of Donald's already pitted, I think, wow, they're following each other pretty close, or at least God Palmer is pretty close to John. So I think that's it. Like, it's a strategy only, nothing more. It will be interesting to see how people are starting to go to the pits. And meanwhile, Max just increasing the gap, nothing surprising there, and that is really it. Like everybody else, like they have a gap that is pretty normal. Like we are not gonna see big attacks from anybody else unless these two drivers. And we knew beforehand that this was gonna be a parade, a procession, just people following each other. We were expecting for a bit of chaos on the first laps. Didn't happen. Only a virtual safety car, a car stopping on the track. Let's see there. Yeah, no. It's just gonna be following. I'm starting to guess that they are gonna have to pit pretty soon. I was gonna say we have an overtake, but no, it's just a EGC going to the pits. So the first 4 positions still on 11 laps. Got Palmer with the alternate strategy. Hopefully that pays off. And that is it. Some people have the hard tire. I'm guessing because they were forced to pit. But yeah, nothing more than that. So we were just informed that TomTom, his wheel got disconnected, and that's why we saw him like stop on track, and we were like, we don't know what's happening there. Was that a crash or what happened? Just a car being parked in the middle of the track? We finally have an answer, and it's that TomTom's wheel disconnected, which is horrible when that happens. That has happened to me a couple of times. And yeah, you cannot do anything. You try really fast to get out of your seat and try to reconnect, but sometimes it's not, you don't have the time to do that. It's like, and then you get disqualified, which is what happened to TomTom. Unfortunate for him, it was a bit crazy what happened, what we saw on the broadcast, but now we have a clear answer of what happened. So hopefully the stewards will also, if they are looking into it, they will realize that it was a hardware problem that we have once in a while. But Palmer chasing John. I think close as he has ever been, 0.3 of a second, and he's just hoping for John to just pit, just go to the pits, change your tires, and let me, do my strategy as I want to. But John decides to stay on track, and Max goes to the pits. It will be interesting to see where does he resumes the race. And from what we see on the mini-map, he will have a lot of clean air. So great pit stop for Max. He has a lot of space ahead. So no cars are going to be holding him behind. And he can just continue. with his probably first and only stop of the race. Meanwhile, we have our first overtake, and it's AEGC overtaking Top Box. Fresher tires, I don't know if that actually was like a big part of the overtake or just a mistake from Top Box that we didn't see. But yeah, it's crazy. Meanwhile, but Palmer is pretty close to John. We have to stay with these two. We have to stay with these two. They are, I think, yeah, there's a back marker there. I think it's quick plus. And now John goes to the pits, and John and God Palmer has a lot of space, a lot of clean air for him to actually try to increase the gap and make the alternate strategy work. Meanwhile, Max is in second place. John, back of Donuts. Back of Donuts just set the fastest lap. Very good for Back of Donuts. And again, we don't see a lot of people getting close to each other. And from what we have seen, we have saw only like on the start of the race, you see a lot of overtakes, but they are just because of the start. You know, after lap 1 or lap 2, you can start to see the actual overtake of the race, like on track. And I think we have seen only one. Other ones have been just, you know, people clipping the wall and some other drivers taking advantage of that. Meanwhile, we see that Zach going to the pits and changing the front wing. He will resume the race in last. Meanwhile, God Palmer having the first place right now, the lead of the race, and he's gonna use all his ERS. He's gonna try to create a gap. He needs to create a gap, maybe not from Max, but he needs to create a gap from John, because I think the fight for second place is the one that will be definitely interesting at the end of the race. And very interesting. No safety cars. This is crazy. Max with a new set of tires. He might have in front of him like a back marker. Yeah, he does. So that won't be a problem. And he might get DRS on the main straight. But I think he will overtake the back marker before that. So not even that will be good to watch. Yeah, we don't see a lot of things right now happening. We have another yellow flag, and yeah, somebody spun John. Ooh, this is very bad. This is very bad for John. And this is very good for God Palmer. John just spun, losing 3 seconds on the second sector. Let's see the entire lap, how much he lost compared to his fastest lap. Three seconds, yeah, so basically the amount of time he lost on the second sector. And that is very good for God Palmer. That is very good for God Palmer, who we will see how the distance between these two is 21 seconds. So maybe try to increase the gap a little bit more and you will be able to pit and stay ahead on track. I saw a yellow flag somewhere, but we are back to full green on the track. Another yellow flag on sector 2, but probably just somebody just clipped the wall, and that maybe was Crescent or Sack. Wow, Sack just got a 10-second penalty, so I'm guessing he doesn't have a front wing to work with. Yeah, no, he doesn't have a front wing, so he needs to go back to the pits again and change his front wing. Oof. Yeah, all good. He will get a new wing. Meanwhile, Crescent and Zach are the only ones with time penalties. So for now, we will not show them because it's not important for the lead of the race. I just want to see when does Scott Palmer going to pit. Again, it's unfortunate that we don't see tire degradation on the broadcast because that will give us kind of a perspective of where or when Scott Palmer might go to the pits. Meanwhile, Max just cutting the gap, but I think Max is on his own race. We haven't seen any mistakes from him, which I'm very happy to see because in the last races he wasn't like at his best. So it will be pretty good to see Max going back to the podium on this league. Got Palmer with 18 laps, and we have a problem there. I think Zach just retired. Yeah, Zach just retired. I think we can see here. Yeah, there he is. Right at the exit of the tunnel, he had to retire, and no safety car again. This is very weird. Like, he crashed inside the tunnel, like right outside the tunnel. Like, that has to be a safety car. I'm surprised. I don't know if they were set too low or what happened, but this is very, very crazy that crash didn't set a safety car. And to be honest, right now I'm just cheering or hoping for a safety car just to make this a little bit more entertaining, like to watch. But that will definitely be like not very, very good for some of the people who have been driving pretty good today. That is Max, who is creating an amazing gap for the lead. You know, back of donuts, also with a strategy that it seems that it's gonna suit him, and if he's able to finish the race in that set of tires, going to the pits a few laps earlier than the rest is gonna pay off. So, you know, they are playing their strategy, so it will not be fair for them to get a safety car. I think the only one right now who will benefit from one will be Scott Palmer, but even without it, he is doing pretty good. And we have another yellow flag. Yeah, somebody's stopping track. Okay, so Crit Plus is just in the middle of the track. He spun, but he's still on the race. He can recover. He will have to go to the pits and change his tire. Sorry, his front wing and also his tires, because the game forces you to change tires. Max has a time penalty. We will look at it in a second. There's another car stuck there. I think we will see Crescent in a second, or Crescent was there. So that is the corner. I think that's the pool corner, which is where Charles Leclerc also crashed in real life. Charles Leclerc crashing on Monaco every single year. So Chris goes to the pits. Got Palmer with 20 laps in his mediums. I think he might want to go to 25. I'm guessing, but I don't know. Let's see the time penalty for Max. That might be unfortunate. 3-second penalty. So maybe cutting corners cost him that. Now Max is right behind Scott Palmer, and Scott Palmer is trying to defend. Interesting. Scott Palmer is trying to defend from Max. Ooh, what a complication there. Oof, what a bad crash they have. I for a second forgot how to speak because the crash was very definitely unfortunate for both of them. I'm pretty sure Max has to go to the pits. It seems that he doesn't have any damage. Got Palmer Let's try to see if he has some damage there. And no, doesn't seem to have damage. But I think he's gonna go to the pits. We see the icon there for something, so he might want to go to the pits, unless he's one of those damages that cannot be repaired on the pits, which might be extremely unfortunate for God Palmer because he was doing a pretty good alternate strategy. Max, let's see if he goes to the pits. No, he stays on track, so no problems for him. Let's see. God Palmer also stays on track, so if he has damage, is one of those that you cannot fix on the pits, and from now on it will be just damage limitations. I was a bit surprised that God Palmer decided to defend from Max, and I think Max was also kind of surprised from that. But I don't know, I think the mistake, or if there's anybody at fault, I think it's Max. He went a bit too, he didn't brake on time. But still, if, you know, at the end of the day, you want to win. And maybe God Palmer thought that he could slow down Max, but you know, he hasn't pitted, so I don't know. I really don't know what to make from that incident. Let's see if Max got any penalties besides the 3 seconds. No, so there was no penalties from that incident. I don't know if God Palmer will create a ticket for the stewards to look into it, but from what we saw, you know, Max completely missed his braking point and causing the crash. But very, very interesting that none of them went to the pits, so you know, it's pretty good. At least they don't have to compromise with that 20 to 25 seconds because you have to go to the pits and change you know, a front wing or a tire. So God Palmer might go to the pits in the next 2 laps. We will see. I don't think he will wait to the 29th or 28th. I'm guessing 25, 26 is where he will go into the pits. Meanwhile, Max just creating a gap. I think he needs to create a gap because if the stewards look into that incident, he might get some penalties post-race, and you know, maybe a 5 or 10 second penalty. So he needs to build a gap. So he, after that penalty, if it happens, after that penalty, he will still be in first place. John stays on track one more time, one more lap, and besides that, nothing much has happened. Back of Donuts in 3rd place, John chasing Back of Donuts. Pretty interesting now, he is 1 seconds behind Back of Donuts. And remember, a few laps ago, he had like a small spin that forced him to lose like 3 seconds. So he will be pretty closer to Back of Donuts if that mistake didn't happen. What else can we see in track? I think nothing. Maybe we need to see basically God Palmer going to the pits and hopefully the race ahead of John. But after that incident with Max, I don't know if he has the gap now that he needs to do that. Because I think in Monaco it's like somewhere around 25, 27 seconds. And yeah, like John right now is pretty close. So that alternate strategy, because of that incident with Max, maybe not have been the best approach or the best result, because the approach was good. Like that was a good alternate strategy, you know. But then you don't know what's gonna happen in the race, and I don't know. Like now that I'm looking at it again and looking at the numbers, I don't know if without the incident with Max, he would have like the opportunity. I don't know. Again, we can see that he has damage, it's just that we don't know where. and that might be compromising his race a lot. Meanwhile, John getting close to back of Donuts, we might see, you know, a bit of attack in the main straight. I think right now it's pretty far from back of Donuts, but if he stays, you know, within a second, he will have DRS in the main straight, and he will try to do something. Because again, like, if you can overtake in track without the other one making a mistake, it will have to be the main straight. Like, that's the only place realistically where you can make an attack, and he goes for it with a terrible camera we have there, but we see that, yeah, nothing happened. Again, like, the straights are not long enough to make the DRS work unless the guy in front of you makes a mistake. But Palmer going to 26. I'm guessing he's gonna pit now, but we will see. We will see. Meanwhile, Max still with that gap. We have to stay with John and back of Donuts. Hopefully, you know, if John tries to make a move, hopefully he keeps it clean. ERS enabled. He doesn't have ERS in this moment. We will see in the main straight if he has some DRS, but 0.5 of a second, 0.4 of a second, getting pretty close to back of Donuts. The tires are pretty much in the same, like 70 to 12 laps. The tire degradation difference might not be as much, so this will be maybe to the setups, and let's see if John has some speed. I mean, he does, but it's really hard to overtake on track. What is that we're seeing? Nothing has changed. We see, you know, Crit Plus. Is he racing? No, I think he just let Max overtake him. Yeah, we have to stay only with John and back of Donuts. Again, ERS, it's enabled using some battery, but I think he's saving his battery for the main straight. I don't think he will be able to overtake back of Donuts, which will say that was a very good strategy going to the pits earlier than the rest. And this only brings frustration to John because he was in second place, and I'm gonna go for it. Will that be enough? And he goes, he tries, they touch, and back of Donuts still tries to recover, not enough, and John made the pass. Probably one of the few overtakes that we have seen today, and an overtake from the leaders. So pretty solid from John. I wasn't expecting that from happening, but he went to the inside on the first corner. He probably used all the track he could, and then because they touch, I think back of Donuts kind of, you know, wasn't too aggressive, and then concede the position. Because when both of them are aggressive, then you might see some crashes. So John now getting pretty close to God Palmer, just waiting for a safety car. That is not going to happen. From what we have seen, it's crazy that we haven't seen a safety car. But yeah, now he goes to the pits. No, he doesn't. Somebody else was going to the pits. And I don't know who. John. God Palmer, sorry, staying on track. I mean, when is he gonna go to the pits? And the bad thing for him is that he's gonna come behind back of Donuts. We have a yellow flag somewhere, and a car is stopped, but he was able to resume. And I think that was either John or Brady I see John good. Brady, yeah, Brady had a problem going to the pits, so I don't know if he will have to change. Yeah, he has to change the front wing, and let's see what Palmer. When is he gonna pit? That's the only thing that matters at this point, is just to see, when he pits and in what position he comes back to the track. And Scott Palmer is just waiting for a safety car. That, from what we have seen in the race, is not gonna happen. Lots of the DNF. I think all of the DNF that we have seen are just people crashing by themselves, and I don't know if that kind of triggers just a yellow flag and not really a safety car. Safety cars only happen when you crash with somebody else. I don't know, because I'm pretty sure I have seen safety cars from single crashes. It's just that from what we have seen today, it's just crazy that few crashes on track have been deemed as not safety car worth. When is Scott Palmer going to pit? That is the main question, and I think he will resume in fourth place, so he doesn't have a lot of opportunity to win. Pretty interesting. We're in the lap 32. And Scott Palmer's tires are 31 laps, so yeah, because when they finish 32, yeah, never mind. Nothing else is happening, so let's see if we have any comments on the channel or on the Discord. So now John is catching Scott Palmer after, Scott Palmer has to have, issues with his car. Back of Donuts gets a 2-second penalty, meanwhile, which is in the 33 lap, so it's fine. Now Scott Palmer goes to the pit. Now that John has catched him up and give him the arrest, so I think John will fly and bring the car home to be in second place. Back of Donuts, it will be interesting to see if Scott Palmer can chase him. They are 13 seconds apart, and Back of Donuts with a very old set of tires and a 3-second penalty, which means that Scott Palmer only needs to go to the 10 seconds. Like, he needs to be in that 3-second window, and maybe that's doable with new tires, soft tires, chasing Back of Donuts with medium tires, but also 23 laps old tires, and we have laps left. No, 5 laps left. 6 including this one, but I don't know if that will be enough right now. The gap started at 13 seconds. Let's see after this lap the distance or the time difference. So it is now 10 seconds, which means it's 3 seconds per lap. So yeah, he has a chance. He has more than a chance to catch Back of Donuts and try to get in the main straight if he chooses to do cleanly the third position. Meanwhile, he is setting fastest sectors all over the place. So I'm guessing he will get fastest lap of this race. Meanwhile, in the 5th position we have 8 EGC, 6 Brady, 7 Topbox, 8 Fire. I don't know if Fire is racing. I don't see him ghosted, so maybe he is racing. He came back because he had to leave the session. And Quick Plus also racing. By this time I was expecting way more DNFs, so it's pretty good to know that some people are still in the race. Scott Palmer gets the fastest lap of the race so far, and I think that will be it. And chasing back of Donald. Now the distance is 6 seconds. So I'm guessing at the end of this lap it might be 5 seconds or less. So it seems that we might have only one action item, and it will be happening in a couple laps, maybe at the end of the race. Let's see how exciting that can be. Max having a race of his own, John same. Even after that small incident that we had, that little spun, he came back to second place. Back of Donuts, I still think amazing recovery from him. And if he finishes 4th, I think he have gained 1 place. Let's see. Yeah, if he finishes 4th, he will be ending where he started, which will be pretty interesting because the first 4 places will just be exactly where they started. Scott Palmer 2.7 seconds behind back of Donuts. He will catch him on the next lap for sure. And right now he's on the window of the 3-second penalty of back of Donuts. So I wouldn't even attack. I will just stay, behind him and collect the 3rd place via the penalties. Because in that incident with Max, I don't think Scott Palmer is at fault. So even if the stewards look into it, he will not have a penalty. So just stay behind back of Donuts. I wouldn't suggest to try to overtake him on track, really, because of the complexity of this track, but maybe he wants to win in the track, and that will be a DNF risk, but we will see. He is chasing him. He's gonna try to make a move. He's trying to make a move. I don't know why, really, but okay. Let's see how this plays out. Scott Palmer chasing back of Donuts with a super soft tire, just 4 laps old, versus a medium that is 27 laps old. Is Back trying to defend? I don't think Back is trying to defend at all. But he remains ahead. And Scott Palmer not attacking right now, just following back of Donuts. But it's in the main straight where he will have a chance, and we will see if it's easy or not for him to overtake him. He has DRS, he goes DRS, also ERS, and we will see. Oof, he can't. But Palmer back of Donuts also used his ERS, and he will try to stay ahead for the rest of the lap. 2 laps remaining for them. Meanwhile, Max and John, they are having their own race, but we will focus on these 2 because this might be the only exciting part of the whole race, and it will be Andy at the end. Let's see if Back of Donuts can Again, I still don't understand why they are racing. They are risking a crash or something. Let's see. And yeah, he makes the move, he makes the overtake. God Palmer on track overtakes Bag of Donuts. They both kept it pretty clean. Good for them. Again, I think it was an unnecessary risk, but some people want to win on the track, and fair play. Like, you have to say GG to them, because at the end of the day we are here to race and have fun. And yeah, there's nothing better than winning a place or two on track. And I think that was it. Max is bringing it home, using a bit of ERS just in his final lap. John also in his final lap. God Palmer, like, the first 4 positions didn't change from qualifying. Again, because we know Monaco is a parade and nothing else. Surprise? Not safety, not a single safety car. I'm still surprised about that, but you know, fair play, GG to Max, who right now goes and takes the checker flag. He wins. He comes back from a couple of poor performances in, I think, Spain and Portugal. And John will take second place. John, who has an amazing start of his career in this league. God Palmer will take third place, and Bag of Donuts will have to settle with fourth. Meanwhile, Fire, I think he's finishing his lap. Yeah, he just finished his lap, and that is. We have finished the Monaco Grand Prix. Congratulations to the podium people, Max, John, and God Palmer. And the time gap that Max created is enough that if he gets a penalty for that incident to it, God Palmer, he will still be ahead in the leaderboard. So congratulations to everybody. It was cleaner than I expected, and yeah, good race, GG, goodbye.